All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and review solving multi-step equations. Just have a few problems here to talk about the steps and then a few small pointers on the actual assignment. So first example here, I'm going to go ahead and combine my, distributive property first, then combine like terms. So let's see, 3 multiplied by negative 2 is negative 6. 3 multiplied by negative 4n is negative 12n. The negative 4n stays the same, and that's going to be equal to 74. I taught my students again to look for combining like terms. You're going to do your box, circles, triangles, something like that, just to help your organization skills. So I've got negative 12n and negative 4n, which is going to be negative 16n. Then the negative 6 is written, and that's going to be equal to 74. I'm going to go ahead and add 6 on both sides. So that's going to give me negative 16n is equal to positive 80. And again, if you notice, it's just the same steps over and over from the previous review. Going to divide by negative 16. So the only thing new that we did on our multi-step primarily was distributive property and combine like terms. So n is equal to negative 5. Still being careful with those signs. And looking at the assignment, you got some very similar here. You actually have some easier ones where you didn't even have to do your distributive property first. You just had to combine your like terms first. Notice this problem here, 4 subtract 2. A lot of students make a small mistake and they would say 2 times. That is not allowed for our order of operations. So the 4 stays the same. And then I multiply my negative 2 multiplied by negative 7n, which is positive 14n. Then negative 2 multiplied by positive 7, which is negative 14. We got 88. My like terms this time, again, you can box, circle, triangle if you want to do the circle or ovalish or whatever. So 14n stays the same. 4 subtract 14 is a negative 10 is equal to 88. I'm going to add 10 on both sides. So I have 14n is equal to 98. Divide by 14. Now, if you don't know what it is, just looking at it, you could think about the following. Instead of dividing, you can go over here and think about, okay, if I multiply by 14 and another number, it has to end in an 8. So 4 times 7, isn't that 28? 7 times 1 is 7 plus 2. Oh, very nice. So n is 7. All right, this one, very similar, except for there's no possible mistake here because we are definitely not going to combine a variable and a number. So we've got negative 5v there. Then I've got 4 times 64, which is 4 times 6v, which is 24v. And then also a 4 times a 6, which is a 24. I'm going to go ahead and combine these. The rule again, trying to help our 7th graders remember these rules, is different signs, find the difference, or subtract. So that's going to give me a positive, because 24 has the greater absolute value, positive 19v plus 24 is equal to 138. I'm going to subtract 24 on both sides. So that's going to give me 19v is equal to 114. Going to go ahead and divide by 19. And again, if you don't know the division in your head, you can go to the side and say, okay, 19 times what number is going to end with a 4? Let's see, what about 6? Because isn't 9 times 6 54? 6 times 1 is 6 plus 5. Oh, very nice. So that means v is equal to 6. So what I'd like you to notice again is primarily distributive property and combining like terms. Now on your homework on these review assignments, you do have some a little bit more challenging on 11 and 12 where you've got some common denominators that you might have to worry about. So one of my suggestions is maybe you change everything to have the same denominator. Or there's a small trick, like on number 11. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but just briefly talk about it. Looking at our denominators, 2, 3, and 4, the question is, what would be the least common denominator for a 2, a 3, and a 4? Excuse me. Hopefully you thought of a 12. Now, here's one mathematical trick. If you'd like to, you can go ahead and multiply the whole equation by 12. So your 5 halves would multiply by 12, but really the 12 and the 2 would cross cancel. So the 2 becomes a 1, the 12 is a 6, so it's really a 6 times 5x, which is really a 30x. Oh no, I'm starting it. 12 and 3 would cross cancel. 3 becomes a 1, 12 is a 4, 4 times 1 is a 4. 4 and 12 would cross cancel. 4 becomes a 1, 12 becomes a 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Then you have your x plus 1. Uh-oh. We've got variables on both sides. We made a small mistake there, but that's okay. I think you can figure that out. If not, watch the next video. Again, solving equations with variables on both sides. All right, hopefully that helps. Be awesome. Send us any questions via email, and we can help you out.